South Africa. Welcome to the very first episode of Conversations That Matters. My name is Mannaseh and I am your host.
And my name is Eddie Mariba and welcome to our show.
Conversation That Matters is a platform that gives the South African community an opportunity to discuss and tackle the issues around them and issues that we face on a daily basis.
Yes, and on today's show, we are going to discuss gender-based violence. And as most of you know, the president called it a pandemic in our country. And so we have today Sam in our midst, and we also have Utumelo to come and help us to tackle the issue. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. As Prasedi has already said, we have two gentlemen joining us on studio today. Welcome Mr. Mbulazi and Tumelo.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Glad to be here.
So can you please introduce yourselves? Greet our viewers at home.
Humble greetings to your all viewers at home. Sam Kumara Lokuruma, Mbulazi. I'm glad to be here. The next billionaire of this time. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm known as TKJ. Thank you very much. I'm really honored and favored to be here.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us.
Yes.
Now let's get right into it. We're discussing gender-based violence today,
Yes.
and we are hoping there's someone there at home that will be able to get assistance through the conversations that we'll have today.
So as you're joining us today, we have questions for you.
Okay.
We want to discuss this with you. As you are men, as you come from the township, we would like to know your views about the whole situation. So I would like to ask you, Sam Kumalo, what are the triggers of gender-based violence in our community?
Thank you for the question. Firstly, I would love to say triggers that perpetrate gender-based violence. Firstly, our community, last Lala Corner. Secondly, the background, last Kulele Corner. Because going to me, the way in Kulenga Corner, I had a father, but my father, what would do to my mother, it was not lovely at all. She would beat my mother in front of me, and that affected me as a young boy. I ended up being that boy, Oshaya Mantombazana. But then coming to the community, my friends as well, Maslis is Kuluma, discussing, trying to find answers, trying to find that identity as a young boy who's growing up. How do I treat a woman? But into what we will say, it makes you a man. Thank you.
Wow, now that's powerful. Now the other thing that comes up is that cultural systems, or sometimes even in religious beliefs, there are teachings as Bakona that tells us when you are in a marital environment, you cannot leave that environment. For example, they'll teach you things like divorce is a sin and so forth. But my question is, if someone is involved with gender-based violence, as in an environment where they are told that if they leave, they'll be committing some kind of a sin or doing some wrong, how do you address such a person?
And number one is that there is no tradition or there is no Bible that promotes violence. At the same time, you should know that, because as far as I know, where there is a spirit of God or where there is God, there is liberty. So you have to know if maybe in that relationship there is full of violence, there is toxic. For me, as an advice, that you should leave that relationship before you end up being dead or being killed so brutally. So as a young man growing up, believing in God is that God will never allow you to stay in a place where you're being abused every single day.
That's true.
And now we have seen a lot of people dying because of their trying to be patient, trying to preserve those instructions or beliefs. So somehow we need to concede our rights as human beings, because they are always right in our community or constitutions. So we need to take care of ourselves by believing in our rights, that we are also human beings. And even God himself knows that we need to be free, because I believe that God, he came to liberate us, and now we are also liberated. So we can't stay in a place where we are being treated like scumbags. So as a person who's being abused in a relationship and you are also afraid to leave it because you are afraid maybe you are committing a sin, I would just to tell you, just pray about it. But the solution that I have is that you should leave that relationship before it's too late.
Yeah, but I would love to add, Ngoba, you know, you need to be valued as a woman. You need to be valued as a man. You know, you shouldn't be treated as I married you, I bought you, 10 years, no, it shouldn't be that way. It should be a partnership. No, I do breakfast today, you do lunch later. You know, it should be a working relationship between the two.
Yeah.
And in that way, the two, they can cooperate, the two, they can work together. By solving, within, they can solve the problem with by kuluma so please, please address me well. I'm not your child, Pella. You know. So yes. I'd love to say that.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the both of you gentlemen. I've tickled something in both the statements you said.
Okay.
Now my next question is: are men also victims of gender-based violence? Because now, Mr. Mbulazi, you said something about equality. That if you treat me bad, I treat you bad. If you treat me good, then I treat you good. Can you please say something about that? Are men also victims of gender-based violence?
Yeah, your question is funny but not funny. Ngoba lento iklung to know ukuthi there's a man, there's a story yabona of a man. Lendoda lena umfazi wakhe always brings amadoda endlini yakhe. But the man, because he's a man, he's trying to be gentle, he's trying to be soft, he's trying to be the man that society needs. But the woman, and when the husband goes to the police station, so that man akasali in a choice okay, but I'm coming to you for help. So men, they are abused. Number of men, and in a way they are ashamed. In a way they feel embarrassed. They say, I'm not man enough. Inside of me, I'm burning inside of me, and they are bust. Someone will die, and then they say it's gender-based violence.
So are you saying that men are being pushed?
Men are being pushed. They are pushed to the corner in a way which nami ngasab the window to run away. In a way which nami won't pelalana ngeke. Kabanga. It would be so sad, and telling my friends, hey, let's go in Nasola. It's because of my wife. That itself in the community, you are regarded as Uwika out here. So yes.
So like another thing that kills us as men is that this phrase that says men don't cry. I think that phrase is killing us as men. It's killing us every single day. It is because like we are ashamed to break the silence. Like we are ashamed, as a man you have power over women. No. If like you are being treated so badly, just break the silence. Tell your friends. And sometimes it is so hard as a man to go to a police station and tell those officers who are working there, guys, I'm being abused every single day. It is because of my woman. So I think somehow our traditions they are still affecting us. That men don't cry, and that phrase is killing us every single day. And like to be 100% sure, men are being abused also.
No, I hear you, and I'm learning a lot. We need to have that brotherly love, whereby we can rely on each other, so that if I tell you something, I can be confident that you'll be there to help me.
And also, Brad Eddie, I think as women, we should also learn. Yes. We shouldn't push too much on men.
That's true. That's true.
I think this is a two-way street.
Exactly. Exactly. The other question that comes to mind is that most abusive environments, you will find that there's someone that is aware of the event. Either a neighbor or a colleague or a family member, they are always aware that there's a certain couple who are being abusive to each other. Now, we have this mentality that usually we say to ourselves, it's none of my business. But then something tragic can happen at a later stage. So my question to you is, how can I, as a third party, do in order to help someone that I can see that is in trouble or is involved in a gender-based violence environment? What steps can one take in order to help in that situation?
I say, and now we live in the days where people, they're so afraid to intervene because anything can happen from the relationship, from those guys who have been abused, or maybe the perpetrator will come to you and say,
Exactly.
but now, seeing the situations that are happening in South Africa, a lot of women are being killed every single day. It is because someone saw the event happening and that person didn't do anything else.
Yes.
You see, but now as a third part seeing that situation happening, I think and I believe that you should call the cops or find help from pastors to come and intervene, because it's so sad to see a relationship that is abusive every single day, and now it's affecting the whole neighborhood. It is because of that particular situation there. Do you understand me? Do you get me?
Yes.
So now as a third part, we should go to elders of the family. Elders, come, elders. Let us help these people. And now we see like the whole household is being destroyed. It is because of domestic violence. It is because of the gender-based violence that is happening. Elders, pastors will come, and we believe that pastors will come and bring prayer, and prayer will remember to works. So now, taking it to consideration, get help from cops. Cops will come and help you guys.
Yeah, on that. First thing first, it is to say, yabona abantu who look happy around you guys, kodwa endlini there is always fight, there is always lento ukuthi bayalwa, and as abomakhelwana nezwe ukuthi no man, there's something happening. But then the victim mombuza ukuthi kwenzakalani kahle kahle, uyangithanda, siyathandana, and ungayingeni lento abongayazi ngoba awazi siphila kanjani, and lo muntu lona I've been with him for years, and lo muntu lona wakulobola wakhipha imali ekhaya. That itself is to say, women themselves, they need to be independent first and first.
Yes.
Women themselves, they need to know their value. Women themselves, they need to understand who they are, because women, they're forgetting who they're a flower after all. Because Lendo Dalena, Tengela, your wave, he's buying you your dresses, he's buying you all of these things that you need. It doesn't mean Nomudona now, they are the one who drives your line. They are the one who control. Godwa, it's a yes. Because if you're not independent, if you cannot stand for yourself, if you can't go anywhere, then you don't have an option. So this is the time and this is the generation where we need to have young women that will stand for themselves, young women that will start businesses. But the painful part, which now the system is not easy to fight this gender-based violence, because now it favors more women. They big, they strong, they are all of that, and then us men, we are nothing. Gandhi, that itself, it raises lento ukuthi okay, siya compete, kodwa sihlale le one siya compete wena so nemoto so nalento lena mina nginayo, and then lento le says we find ourselves in a situation where sihlale le one mara sikhulisana siyalwa asithi counseling angizenzi lento leza ngifuna umuntu ezindaba zami, into ezinjalo, and kanjalo it's so very hard ukuthi how would you enter in that system of a family and help, because we grew up in a family or in a society where we knew ukuthi umntwana is raised by ugogo wasekhuleni, umkhulu Steve, siyazi ukuthi mawube ngabona umkhulu Steve mawube ngezinto ngivele ngiyeke khona lapho. But in this generation of ours, we have shifted, drifted to our African roots. So I would say my really masusweni, not to say beat women, but my really masusweni, treat women like women, treat men like a man should be treated. Hasn't she surprised with that? Wow, how unjani namhlanje ayamanzi akuso wakho. Azenzele phela nawe awangeke phela. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
There's something you said that women are flowers. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Women, treat yourself like flowers, and men never be intimidated. So now we'll be going to our next question. So I want to ask about this society, the system, the educational system of South Africa. What role does it play?
That role is a tricky question though, because our system in this fundisayona ukuthi umuntu wesimame uyotinayo, umuntu wesimame wenji yazobamba la endlini wabona mina ngisebhodweni bangidlisile madoda bamshaya ngephenti inkosi yami, and which is not kahle. Mina I don't usually say it's 50-50. No, I say it's a partnership.
Yes.
Mina mangibhizi yabona ngama-home kwabantwana uma ubhizi lapha ngebhodo nenini ngihamba uthulisa yabona usicathulo laphayana nami ngithi ukufaka spice laphayana. Then in that way we are able to raise a healthy community. We are able to raise warriors, like next teachers, next billionaires, But what our education system does, it's fundisa ukuthi we should compete with each other. Okay, baba makatenga itel, mina ngivela ngithi Range Rover. Instead of saying baba, I think if masingahlanganisa le mali and try to do something with this money that would edify both of us. Instead, ungabonakala ukuthi khona umuntu osebenzayo khona umuntu ongasebenzi, because there are those families where abasebenzi, indoda ayisebenzi but the wife iyasebenza. The husband will never feel the pressure ukuthi angisebenzi, will never even some other day regretting why did I marry her, why did I stay with her, because there's a partnership between the two. Umntwana makeza ubaba athi baba ngicela imali, ubaba uhleza nemali ngoba baba akasebenzi, because the mother always covers the father ukuthi baba bangasokha azumntana makafika makangathi, because that itself it raises ilona confidence kubaba ukuthi maniyazi noma kunzima kepha ngubaba in my house and nami ngiyakwazi ukuncedisa there and there. And then with that I believe we will have a healthy system. But I will urge our Department of Education laba khona which personally come with programs that will help us and intervene in this.
And my brother spoke about a 50-50 thing. It's very important for us as kids growing up, like at school they need to teach us those things, like women, you have to treat women like queen, and women need to treat like men like kings. I think that is very important. It's a 50-50 thing.
Thank you very much. I think we have motivational speakers
here.
Surely our viewers at home are being motivated.
Yes, no, we've learned a lot, and I think we're running out of time, and I want us to bring this to a close. But I think the main thing I want the viewer to take from us today is to know exactly what they can do, starting from today, in order to stop gender-based violence. Be it that you are involved in it or you are aware of it in any way possible. For example, I can see Amapoisa have had the complaints that most men have when it comes to reporting, and I think they can take that to heart. But the question I have is, what can a society do out there in order for us to reduce gender-based violence? What can we do as the society to reduce gender-based violence?
And number one, like they need to develop programs that will assist people, tell them, preach the gospel of non-violence, non-violence, gender-based violence. You see, something like that, like something that will establish, like, no to gender-based violence. Things that will teach young kids, good guys, stop beating women, stop pushing your men to beat you, because sometimes women pushes us to do wrong things. But if now we need to ask everyone who is able with funds, just develop programs that will assist them, teach kids or teach everyone, especially us men, not to beat women, not to abuse them.
I want to emphasize on the point of which it is the best place where programs they can be run. I know abazalwane on how to handle women and how the husband should be handled. And another thing, this program should be included. Under the curriculum, no umuntu simami akashaywa, umuntu wesilisa uya respect, because one thing with men, siyafuna ukulalela, siyafuna indlebe, kodwa mawuzothola umuntu who's not, ongafuna ukulalela but yena ufuna ukukhuluma then sinenkinga. So that's where we need to solve the corner. At home, that's where it all starts. Because now you fathers and mothers, how they treat each other. There's this story, I was so inspired by the story, because these men every morning, every morning, Mother's Day, bekazovuka athathe his little boy, at Baba Sami, so prepare a lunch for Uma. Kabanga, mo 5 exit, they're preparing. And Umama Gavuga, but surprise. And that boy still today, he's the gentleman that he is because of the relationship that he had with his father. And seeing Umamaki, Babambana, and the laughter around the house, the warmth that it brings. And from there, we're having a healthy and a beautiful society. So, and thanks for the opportunity. And I'm glad the Bantu Bakaya, they'll be inspired. And thanks a lot.
Yes. It was very nice having you.
Yes,
I believe that
you.
our viewers at home are very motivated. And then I believe that in every issue that we've discussed on, they are going to take action. Remember, do not keep quiet when you know someone who's been victimized. And also, make sure that we respect one another. Let's treat each other equally. On our screen, there will appear a number that you can call for help. Let's stay safe, South Africans. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us and for joining our very first show today. And we've enjoyed having you. Make sure you tuned in for the next episode. Thank you so much. Amen.
Thank you.